"I'm sorry," because he wasn't by her side at the time. This short but meaningful sentence came out of the mouth of Jungkook, BTS's global group magnate, during a sudden live broadcast session in the middle of the night Korean time. Unexpectedly, Jungkook expresses his deepest regrets not about his career, not about the world spotlight, but about someone very close to him, Park Jimin. What exactly happened? Why did Jungkook express such emotional remorse, and what does this have to do with Jimin's condition that is not yet clearly known to the public? In one broadcast session that lasted less than an hour, Jungkook revealed more than he's ever said in his years as an idol. In a seemingly calm but emotional atmosphere, Jungkook began by saying that he had been thinking a lot over the past few hours. "There are things that I used to take for granted, but now they feel very heavy," she says, staring blankly into the camera. Then, slowly but clearly, she directs the conversation to Jimin, her best friend, colleague, and Hyung, who has been with her since her training days. "Jimin Hyung is not okay," Jungkook said without elaborating. His face stiffened, his voice trembled slightly. Although not explicitly mentioning Jimin's medical or emotional condition, Jungkook's statement was enough to make ARMY as BTS fans are called feel anxious and sad. Furthermore, Jungkook said that he felt guilty for not being aware of the pressure Jimin had put on him before. "I think he's strong. I think he can always get through everything. But as it turned out, I was wrong." Jungkook explained that during BTS's group activity hiatus, each member went through solo projects and personal activities, including conscription for some members. But in the midst of that rush, usually intense communication began to expand. She realizes that there is a slowly growing emotional distance between them, including Jimin. "I was too focused on myself. I regret not asking enough questions, not being present enough," he said. The confession was delivered not as self-defense, but as a form of emotional responsibility that Jungkook felt. He described Jimin as someone who often covered his feelings, smiled despite being hurt, and preferred silence to burdening others. He was always the first person to hug others, but never asked for a hug for himself, Jungkook said. This statement instantly provoked a wave of emotional reactions from fans. On social media, many have highlighted how deep the bond is between the members of BTS, who are not just a music group, but already like a family. Not only that, Jungkook also touched on the mental pressure often experienced by K-pop artists, including himself and his colleagues. "People saw us on stage, full of light, full of energy. But they don't know what we're dealing with behind the scenes. Sometimes, we're too tired to just say, 'I need a break.'" He also invited fans to be more concerned with the human side of their idol. Not only admire the work and visuals, but also realize that these are ordinary people who can be tired, sad, and feel alone. "Jimin Hyung needs time. Please give him space and prayers," Jungkook pleaded at the end of the broadcast. Many entertainment industry observers considered Jungkook's statement extremely rare and bold. Not many K-pop idols openly talk about personal regrets, let alone about the emotional state or health of other group members. But Jungkook's courage actually showed extraordinary emotional maturity during this time. Jungkook and Jimin's relationship is known to be very close. Many moments that show how deep their friendship is, both on stage and in everyday interactions, are often captured in BTS vlogs or documentaries. However, this broadcast adds a new layer to the narrative, that even in closeness, there can be a sense of guilt that sneaks up. What will happen next? The agency has yet to give an official statement on Jimin's condition or Jungkook's live broadcast. However, fans hope this statement will serve as a starting point to improve the communication and mental health of the members, who have been working tirelessly for more than a decade. The ARMY also launched various support campaigns, not only in cyberspace, but also by sending bouquets, letters, and videos of support to BTS's agency office, HYBE. Some communities even held cross-country prayers as a form of solidarity with Jimin and all BTS members. This moment is a touching reminder that behind the glitter of the stage and the glare of the cameras, there are hearts that sometimes hurt. There are bonds that, although strong, can still be shaken by distance and busyness. But therein lies BTS's true beauty and strength, the courage to acknowledge, support each other, and grow together as human beings. Is this a sign of a new chapter in the relationship of the BTS members? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, with honesty like this, Jungkook has conveyed a message deeper than any song's lyrics, that it's never too late to care, and that a sincere confession can touch the hearts of millions. But amid the wave of sympathy and emotion that flooded social media, one very important question is worth asking. Is all this really happening? Or are we being part of a deliberate narrative to stir up public emotion, appeal to mass sympathy, and perhaps, just maybe stir up global opinion for interests we don't yet fully understand? Jungkook's live broadcast did feel honest and electrifying. But wouldn't it be strange if such a dramatic statement appeared suddenly, without any official confirmation or statement from the HYBE agency? Why is there no follow-up video, no documentation showing Jimin's own response? Is it a form of pure emotional expression, or is it part of a carefully crafted communication strategy? We must ask, is this fact, or fiction packaged in virtual reality? Please note, the information we summarize in this article comes from various sources, including footage from live broadcasts on TikTok, footage from YouTube Shorts, and viral threads on Twitter. There are also some quotes from online media that are not completely factually verified. The question now, do you feel confident enough to believe this narrative based solely on social media footage? We live in an age where the line between reality and narrative construction is becoming thinner and thinner. Public figures such as Jungkook and Jimin have become not only artists, but also global symbols that carry economic, cultural, and political value. So, can their emotions be manipulated to maintain public sentiment, prolong the relevance of the BTS group in the midst of emptiness, or even stabilize HYB's internal condition? Are we too easily carried away? It was the tears we shed when we heard Jungkook say, "I'm sorry." Born from the truth, or from the framing effect of a media adept at building an atmosphere of horror, let's pause and ask ourselves, why is there no immediate response from Jimin, either through social media or official statements? Why don't the big media report this in depth if indeed the conditions are precarious? Does this moment happen next to HYBE's big agenda or the launch of a particular project from BTS members? Is this just a narrative exaggerated by fans for the sake of creating a wave of collective emotion? We cannot close our eyes to the possibility that behind smiling faces and moving statements, other, greater interests are at play. Let's not forget that the entertainment industry, especially K-pop, is an ecosystem that is very aware of the power of the media and public empathy. Every cry, every gesture, can be monetized literally and symbolically, but of course, it can all also be sincere. It could be that Jungkook is indeed in a reflective state and feels called to speak. Perhaps he really harbors deep regret for the best friend who has been with him since adolescence. Maybe Jimin is having a hard time and chooses to stay out of the media spotlight. However, if this is true, why is communication on the part of the agency so minimal? Why should the army speculate among short video footage, screenshots, and interpretations that are not necessarily accurate? This is the importance of a skeptical and reflective attitude. Do not rush to believe. Do not share unverified information right away. We must learn to sort between emotions and facts, between empathy and manipulation. The digital world requires us to be intelligent readers, not just consumers of mass emotions. We would like to invite you, our dear readers and soldiers, to an open and adult discussion. Are you sure Jungkook's live broadcast is really happening with the narrative circulating? Did you find any solid evidence to suggest that Jimin is really in an unstable condition? Or are you starting to suspect that this is